Have you ever felt like you were scrolling through your social media feed without even remembering opening the app? You feel this heavy, subtle friction in your chest, a weird mix of mental exhaustion and physical restlessness. You want to read that book on your nightstand. You want to finish that project you were so excited about 3 days ago. You want to just sit and watch a movie without checking your phone every 7 minutes. But you can't. Your brain feels like a browser with 72 tabs open, and 3 of them are playing music, but you don't know which ones. You are physically here, but your mind is fragmented into 1,000 tiny digital shards. It feels as though your thoughts are no longer your own, but rather a chaotic stream of consciousness curated by an invisible machine. And the worst part? You blame yourself. You think you just lack discipline, that you are inherently lazy, or that you just need to find the perfect productivity hack to fix your broken life. Let me tell you a story. A few months ago, I had a Saturday entirely to myself. No work, no obligations, no errands. Just 12 empty hours. I had this beautiful, idealized plan. I was going to brew a fresh cup of coffee, sit by the window, and finally read this philosophy book I'd been meaning to open for a year. I took a sip of coffee, opened to page 1, and read the first paragraph. By the 3rd sentence, my hand instinctively reached for my phone. There were no notifications. I locked it, put it down, and went back to the book. 2 minutes later, I caught myself reading the same paragraph for the 4th time without absorbing a single word. My brain was screaming for a hit of something quicker, louder, and easier. I got frustrated, threw the book on the table, and decided to watch a movie instead. Within 20 minutes, I was fast-forwarding through the dialogue because the pacing felt too slow, while simultaneously scrolling through short-form videos on my phone. By the end of the day, I hadn't read, I hadn't enjoyed the movie, and I felt utterly hollow. I felt like a ghost haunting my own life, desperately chasing a spark of genuine interest that kept slipping through my fingers. I realized that day that I had lost the ability to just be with one thing. I was a professional content creator, someone who prides himself on deep thinking, and I couldn't even hold my own attention for 5 consecutive minutes without feeling a phantom itch in my fingertips. I was trapped in a prison I had helped build. We like to think that our inability to focus is a personal failure. We buy planners, we download focus apps that lock us out of our screens, we listen to 5-hour podcasts by neuroscientists explaining dopamine pathways, hoping for a magic pill. But we are fighting a losing war against an environment designed to dismantle our minds. The modern world doesn't want you to focus. Your focused attention is a terrible business model for the giants of the attention economy. A focused person is dangerous to the system because a focused person is intentional. A focused person buys one good book and reads it for a month. A distracted person clicks on 15 ads, buys 3 cheap gadgets they don't need, and consumes hundreds of pieces of micro-content that leave them feeling perpetually hungry for more. We have normalized a state of constant, low-grade cognitive whiplash, turning our minds into hyperactive engines running on empty fuel. We are told that the world is moving faster, so we must move faster too. We eat while watching a video. We walk our dogs while listening to a podcast at double speed. We text while having a conversation with our partners. We are terrified of the silence that happens when the stimulation stops. Because when the noise stops, the reality of our lives catches up to us. We've traded depth for breadth, and in the process, we've forgotten how to feel anything deeply. We are skimming the surface of our own existence, terrified of what lies at the bottom if we dare to dive in. Let's be completely honest for a moment, without the comforting illusions. No one is coming to save your attention span. There is no software update, no lifestyle guru, and no perfectly aesthetic notebook that will magically give you your mind back. If you keep waiting for the world to become less distracting, you will spend the rest of your life floating down a river of algorithms that decide what you think, what you feel, and who you become. The harsh truth is that you are actively choosing to let your brain be colonized because it is easier than facing the discomfort of your own thoughts. It is easier to feel angry at a headline than to sit with the quiet anxiety of your own insignificance. It is easier to swipe to the next video than to admit that you are lonely, or that you are terrified of failing at the things that actually matter to you. You are sacrificing your highest potential, your ability to create art, to build deep relationships, to think original thoughts, on the altar of cheap, fleeting validation. This constant state of fragmentation is slowly eroding your capacity for true intimacy and creative genius, leaving behind only a hollow shell of productivity. And if you don't draw a line in the sand right now, 5 years from today, you will wake up older, more tired, and completely incapable of remembering what it felt like to have a singular, uninterrupted passion. You are trading your life away, second by second, for absolutely nothing. So, how do we climb out of this? We don't do it by declaring a radical, unsustainable war on technology or moving to a cabin in the woods. That's just another fantasy. We do it through quiet, deliberate acts of micro-resistance. We start by introducing friction back into our lives. If something is easy to access, it is easy to abuse. Put your phone in another room when you sleep. Delete the apps that make you feel like a frantic rat pushing a lever for treats, and only access them through a clunky desktop browser. We must intentionally construct barriers between ourselves and the immediate gratification that degrades our mental stamina. But more importantly, you need to practice the art of doing nothing. I mean literally nothing. Sit on a chair for 10 minutes without a phone, without music, without a book. Just look at the wall, listen to the traffic outside, and let your brain catch up with your body. It will feel agonizing at first. Your skin will itch, your mind will race, and you will feel an overwhelming urge to get up and find a distraction. That discomfort is the feeling of your brain detoxing. It is the feeling of your focus muscles waking up after years of atrophy. Start choosing quality over quantity in every single aspect of your life. Instead of listening to 10 different podcasts on the commute, listen to the ambient sounds of your city. Instead of trying to read 50 books a year just to log them on an app, find one book that shakes your soul and read it so slowly that the pages become dog-eared and stained with coffee. Learn to say no to the ambient noise of the world so you can say yes to the things that leave a lasting mark on who you are. True depth requires patience, and patience is a skill we must consciously choose to relearn. This video you are watching right now is an act of resistance. In a world that demands 2-second cuts, flashing text, and high-energy music to keep your eyes glued to the screen for the sake of an algorithm, we chose to slow down. We chose to have a long, unhurried conversation. If you made it this far, it means your capacity for depth isn't entirely gone. It's still there, waiting to be reclaimed. It proves that you still yearn for something real in a landscape dominated by superficial noise. By subscribing to this channel, you aren't just clicking a button to see more videos. You are making a conscious choice to support human-centric, slow-form storytelling in an era dominated by soulless, automated AI feeds and hyper-optimized clickbait. You are choosing to protect a space where we can still be flawed, thoughtful, and real. Before you close this tab and move on to whatever the internet throws at you next, I want to leave you with one question to think about, or perhaps to answer in the comments below. What is one thing you used to love doing for hours that you haven't been able to focus on lately? And what is the smallest step you can take today to give it your attention again? Take a deep breath, put down the phone, go live your life.